Aiya, the queue is so long. I wonder who will let me cut queue, huh? Wow, that one cannot lah. You want me to cut queue in front of old Ama? Confirm kena scolding one. Aiyo, I know that type. Like, when I talk to him, he will try to sell me insurance. Don't want. Swee lah! I see if I can ask that 小妹妹 to let me cut queue. Or I tell her mother that she's being naughty. Excuse me, a girl you don't mind you let uncle stand in front of you, can huh? Uncle, very old man already lah.
Oh, okay, no problem. 慢慢来 uncle.
Thank you, thank you.
Paiseh ah. Let auntie go first, can? Ladies first, right?
Wait, but I cannot. Better let her, otherwise I confirm kena scolding one. I hate queuing. You know they say queuing is Singapore's national pastime. If you put 3 Singaporeans in a line, very soon it will snake around the block. Queuing is so boring. But I will play a board game that's all about queuing. This is In Line for the Elevators, a small box card game designed by Saashi Saashi, a pleasant Japanese husband and wife couple who I had the pleasure of meeting a few years ago. This review might be a bit long, but don't worry, we'll let you cut to the good parts. Here's how the game works. At the start of the game, each of you is going to get your very own colorful family on top of the one you already have. Your family in this fictional department store, they are trying to rush to the front of the queue of these 3 elevators. If you manage to get your family member into this elevator, you get points. At the end of the game, the player with the most points wins. On your turn, you're going to play 1 card from your 2-card hand. That person is going to join one of the 3 queues. But depending on the type, not color, the type of family member, that person may cut in front of another person in that queue. Grandmas cut in front of grandpas, fathers cut in front of grandmas, mothers cut in front of fathers, boys cut in front of mothers, girls cut in front of boys, and my most favorite part of this whole thing, grandpas cut in front of little girls. Because grandpas don't give a shit. But wait, I hear you say, my traditional Asian extended family has 7 members. Where's my baby? Well, as anyone who has brought a toddler to a department store before, you would know that toddlers tend to wander off by themselves. Obviously, toddlers need adult supervision. So, when they are played to the back of a queue, they are going to pull a family member of their color to stand in line with them. Why would you want to do this? Why would you want to pull your own family member to the back of the queue? Well, the thing is, in elevators, you can play cards of other people's colors. Once you've played a card on your turn, you're going to draw a card from any of these 3 remaining decks, which may include cards of other people's colors. Already, you should be able to see that beneath this ground floor simplicity, there lies basement levels of strategic depth. You can play toddlers of other players to pull their family members to the back of the queue. At the beginning of the game, you can play family members of other players so that at the end of the game, your family can swoop in and steal those places at the end, netting you those sweet, sweet elevator points. And there is one rule that is so funny yet so annoying when it happens. When you play the 3rd family member of the same type in the same queue, the 3 of them will recognize each other, and then, this is in the rules, they're going to all go to the cafe together? What? Not only does this conjure up a delightful mental image, but what this means is that everyone else in the queue is going to shuffle forwards, taking up the empty spaces in that queue. There are a number of other rules. For example, the last person in each elevator gets more points. Certain elevators give double points based on whether they're men, women, or children in it because of the patriarchy or something. And we haven't even mentioned the blocking family who doesn't belong to anyone and is going to get into other families' way. But that is essentially the whole game. You play a card, you draw a card, and that's it. You play 3 rounds or 3 floors. At the end of the game, the person with the most points wins. You win the elevator or something. You take it home with you, I guess. Back in 2019, when Corona just meant the outermost layer of the sun, I played elevators at the Asian Board Games Festival here in Singapore. I quite liked it then, which is what compelled me to purchase it, and I got it signed by the creators because I am that kind of nerd. I was charmed by this box art and its cute and evocative illustrations. I laughed out loud when I was first told the premise because it just felt so Japanese to me. Oh, there's one thing I really want to point out that I really like about the design. This game is colorblind friendly, right? You can tell from the little symbols in the corner and the beautiful patterns on the backs of the cards. This means a lot for someone like me who is actually colorblind in real life. And the theme itself is so accessible, right? We live in a society where everyone understands how cues work. I personally enjoy it when a designer is able to hide the underlying math of a game and you can just play according to intuitive rules, right? Cut in front of other people, get to the front of the queue. This makes the game so much easier to teach. And
Level 6, women's accessories, children's toys, and criticisms.
This game is wrong on so many levels.
I agree with Kevin that it's easy to learn, but I wouldn't say it's hard to master. In fact, there's just not that much to master because on your turn, you have 2 cards in your hand, so it's not like you have many decisions to make. And in reality, you can't control your hand, you can't control the cues. I just feel like my actions have no impact.
The 2-card hand is extremely limiting. There's no way to build a long-term strategy. On some turns, I couldn't even get points. The only thing I could do was to get in somebody else's way and be annoying. Also, there's no way to calculate the board state. The board state changes with every player's turn, which means that for most of the game, I don't care. I only pay attention when it's my turn and I do all my thinking on my turn, which means on other players' turns, it's just silence.
I also feel like there's something dissonant about the box art because it looks like such a fun and cutesy game, but then when you play, there's so much math. What do I do with this card? Where do I put it? If I put it here, how many points do I get? What's going to happen in the future? And then you find out the math doesn't matter because you can't control the board state. You tricked me again!
And yet it does feel like being in an elevator because on your turn, we don't talk at all. There's no way to know what you're trying to do. There's no way to know what you're thinking. So there's no way to lie to you or deceive you or taunt or tease you. The only thing we could do, like in a real queue, is wait.
I really wanted to shut the doors on these criticisms because I really wanted to like this game. It's not supposed to be a long-term strategy game. It's not supposed to be a shouting match with your friends. I brought this game around and played it with many different groups of people. People who are very into board games and people who aren't. Everyone was charmed by this box art. Everyone laughed at the premise. Everyone wanted to play the game. But I have to admit, these two are kind of right. After we finished playing the game, nobody ever said, let's play that again. Here's the thing. I play board games for the beautiful moments it creates. Moments of extreme highs to crashing lows, right? Ups and downs like a roller coaster. However, Elevator's journey is much less like a roller coaster and more like an actual elevator ride. It trundles along, and when you end, it say, oh, we're there. And that's it. For all its smart design and intuitive mechanics, this game just doesn't feel very elevating. In conclusion, Elevators is quick and accessible, but I think I like the idea of this game a lot more than the game itself. As an entry point into board gaming, I think it's decent, but I do think that there are better alternatives elsewhere. But maybe your friends want to sit down for an activity that's not so intense, you know? Or if you have friends who are put off by board games' more common themes of money and murder, then maybe this game is for you, you know? Maybe it's a rainy afternoon at the end of a stressful week. You put on some soft elevator music, you bring this game out and have a chill afternoon with your friends cutting cues. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.